Welcome to World's News, a channel dedicated to presenting you the most important and funny news from our world. On today's video, I'll talk about magic mushrooms which might be able to cure depression, how the Dutch handle wolves, and how Elon Musk ruins Twitter. But please, see for yourself. As more and more people open up and talk about their feelings, we begin to grasp the gravity of depression as a mental illness which affects hundreds of millions of people worldwide. And an estimated 100 million people suffer from serious clinical depression which does not respond to any available treatments, 30% of which attempt suicide. So please talk about your feelings and the feelings of others with your family and friends, regardless of how weird this might be, because personally I'd much rather have a weird relationship to someone but know about their mental state than always being cool and one day attending a funeral. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. A study conducted by the Institute of Psychiatry, Psychology and Neuroscience at King's College London and the South London and Maudsley NHS Foundation Trust suggests that magic mushrooms might be able to help there. Yes, these little shrooms here might be able to partially cure severe depression. In this study, a total of 233 people from 10 different countries on 2 continents tested the effects which 1mg, 10mg and 25mg doses of psilocybin, a psychedelic prodrug found in these mushrooms, would have on their mental state, with the 25mg tablets achieving the best results. Yeah, sure, the higher you are, the better life gets, right? But for real, this could be a huge breakthrough in the depression research, and on top of that, this drug has only few side effects. Although some researchers complained about side effects like headaches, nausea, extreme tiredness and even suicidal thoughts, other researchers didn't see a problem there, as these symptoms weren't really that unusual among people suffering from severe depression anyway. So to sum up the findings of that study, alongside psychotherapy, 1 in 3 patients was no longer diagnosed as depressed at 3 weeks into the treatment, and 1 in 5 saw a significant improvement at 12 weeks in. And that seems pretty promising if you ask me. That means that the researchers now have to observe how this drug performs in the long term. But that's another thing for another day. Until then, let's talk about what seems to me like the opposite of protecting animals. Well, I guess in a sense that does protect the animals, but just see for yourself. Apparently, the Netherlands have a bit of a wolf problem. I mean, there aren't exactly too many of them, with around 20 adult wolves living on over 41,000 square kilometers or 16,000 square miles of land, but apparently they are too tame. Here, for example, you can see a wolf strolling past a family in the Arnhem region. Now, the Dutch government fears that these tame wolves could endanger the people living in these regions, so they came up with an absolutely foolproof plan. Why don't we just shoot them with paintball guns? Whoa, that probably was the brightest moment they had that day. Yes, why don't we just shoot one of our country's biggest predators so they learn to keep their distance? That sounds fairly reasonable, and I'm sure nothing will go wrong there. I mean, to be fair, at least not anyone owning a paintball gun will be allowed to just go wolf hunting. But for real, whether that's an expert or not, I don't think that's fair to the animals, but who am I to criticize them? Apart from that though, I really am curious about how that'll turn out. So I'll definitely follow this story, and if there will be any interesting new developments, I'll tell you here on World's News. Then let's talk about another interesting thing which could happen within the following weeks or months. Remember how Elon Musk bought Twitter because it wasn't enhancing the freedom of speech? Well, guess who just announced that he might make Twitter pay to win? That's right, the man himself, Elon Musk. On top of that, he started to fire half of Twitter's employees, among them many top executives. But how exactly will this pay to win look? Well, for as little as $8 per month, Twitter users can expect to get verified and other bonus features, which could also mean that the tweets of people who pay these $8 per month get promoted more than the tweets of freeloaders, and that those with a Twitter subscription see less advertisements, which itself isn't that bad. But, and please correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that exactly what Elon Musk criticized about Twitter in the first place? Because in my opinion, paying to get more attention doesn't exactly scream equality and free speech, or does it? A former Twitter executive, Brandon Borman, said that with such a blue tick fee, Twitter would lose its magic, also stating that, quote, if charging for the blue tick was the fairest way to do it, I think Twitter probably would have done it a while ago, quote end. Now at this point, nobody can say how this will end, but this story definitely stays interesting. And just as the Paintball Wolf story, if there will be new developments concerning this, well, I think you can call it a conflict, I'll tell you on this wonderful channel. And I'm only gonna say this once in this video. If you enjoy my content and want to see more, or if you just like to support me, feel free to subscribe, but honestly, that's your decision. And that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about this week. If you feel like I missed any significant news which happened this week, please let me know in the comments. But let's move on to something as impactful as paintballs on cold fingers, this week's bonus fact. So, your brain does not feel pain. While it is the place where all signals from your body, including pain, are processed, the brain itself doesn't feel pain because there are no nociceptors, which are the things in your body that feel pain located in the brain tissue itself. Because of that, some brain surgery can actually be performed while the patient is awake. And now you might think why you are getting headaches. Well, there are layers of tissue between the skull and the brain to protect your precious thinking device. And when you are experiencing one of the various forms of headache the human body has to offer, it's these tissues that hurt.